That's it. Only elevators. Next time taking the stairs. Isaac, you need to put the space part in the space engine thing. Here's the power block. Wait a second. Every time I plug something in and start the power work, it's insignificant. That can work just gone. Well, I guess I have to do something. Wait a second, I think I hear the... No, you can replace my head after I do the review. That's it. Anyway, so I really shouldn't have said to expect it this review next week. Sorry about that. But I hope you liked the sketch. It took me a good while. I know it's sarcastically bad, but there is a lot of things to put together still, even if they're low quality. I'm getting one who likes this episode. So to start with this Dead Space series review. Dead Space is a really good one of my favorite game series. One of the ones that got me into playing more games. It's a great sci-fi horror series. So let's get into it. Dead Space 1 starts off with its gameplay as establishes a good way shooting. With a great feel to it. They cut the limbs / shoot the limbs, or the other weak point sometimes. Makes things more interesting. There's good weapon variety. Weapons have a good feel. They're not only all unique within the game, but to video games themselves. The stasis and kinesis are good as weapons and as puzzle solving elements. It's fun to... Kinesis especially has good uses of like throwing stuff or picking up items that are out of reach. There's good enemy variety. They all have a different feel. There's a good upgrade system and with a bit of a resource management. The 0G sections are fun with the jumping between walls mechanic. The no oxygen parts work well to build tension. There's some decent puzzles. There's some decent cinematics parts, but nothing great outside the Dreadwell Leviathan moment. There's good level design. And it's interesting how all Slate works around. It's being centered around the tram that works out well and gives each level a unique feel sort of to it. People tend to think these games are scary, but I don't think they're too particularly scary. Even in this one, the scariest one. But that's really not all horror games are about. It's also atmosphere, which this game has a lot of. The story is a bit simplistic, but the world is very interesting. It's grimy, the sort of common space workers world, much like the alien world. The aesthetics are really good. With the grime and the clunky space machines and the darkness. The color palette does have a lot of the stereotypical late 2000s game brown, but I think it's this one's different because it keeps things light with a lot of bright lights. It's usually blue, sort of help make it feel different colors, even though it's mostly brown. There's a lot of good aliens meets the crafting, creature design, and very good in the series. Overall, it's a real good fun action horror. I'm giving it 9.23. Now on to Dead Space 2. Dead Space 2 is aliens. The aliens to Dead Space's Alien. All the good stuff returns to the original, and there's more of an action focus. It's good new weapons. A lot of good new creatures. The little running guys or the big clunk chargy ones, sort of. The Zero G's been improved sort of with 3D movement, but I sort of do miss the wall-to-wall bits with the Dead and from Dead Space 1. It's heard that they're moving that for a remake. Which I don't know, I sort of like that part in Dead Space 1, even if it's technically clunkier. There's like a good feel going from wall to wall. There's a lot of good cinematic moments. Like the train and like how the windows break and create like a vacuum if they're broken. You have to stop it. The multiplayer is a bit tacked on, but I still remember it being kind of fun. Well, bit I played of it because they had that EA stopping pre-owned game online after like 2 days, or well, if you didn't buy something. But anyway, the story's a bit better. It's better this time. Mostly because of the better supporting characters, especially Ellie. And also Isaac can talk now, so it makes him more of a character this time. Stakes are still good, and the city provides a lot of good new locations. Overall, it's a good fun game. I'm giving Dead Space 2 a 9.34. Our next day, Dead Space 3, I feel this is a fairly underrated game. And that, even though it's not quite nearly as good as the other two, I still think it's a pretty good game. When looking back on this review, I will admit that I didn't remember as much about this before looking at footage. About this one before looking at footage. But when I did look at that footage, I do remember it being fun. People don't like the action-orientedness, but I said I don't feel these games are too scary. But I do kind of wish they would have committed to either being Space Uncharted or being more horror, so they shouldn't have tried to split the difference. Gameplay wise, the weapon crafting is actually fairly good once you get used to it. It's basically deciding what you shoot and how you shoot it. I'm fine with there being co-op, but it does create a bit of this silliness with like a comedic amount of cutscenes of Isaac and Carver splitting up for whatever reason. New creatures aren't as good or interesting as last time. The human enemies some people don't like them, but I find them decent. They're good at mixing things up. There were a lot of good cinematic moments, like the intro train and the climbing sessions, which were pretty good. Also some good Zero G sections again. The story's still decent, possibly the weakest of the three. Some good Isaac is the only one that actually knows how to deal with necromorphs moments that are fun bits in the story. The stakes are good. The space wreck and the ice planet are good new locations. The creature design isn't as good as the other two. And one thing that's pretty bad about this is that you had to pay like a small price for a small DLC for the real ending. I don't like that. It's not as good as the other two, but I still say it's pretty good. Worth playing. I'm giving it an 8.83. So overall, great series. Thank you to anyone who likes, comments, or subscribes.